This series is intended for mature audiences.
Well, where am I? Last thing I remember is I was playing my VR game and finding a new glitch room. Now I'm standing here in a room with Spencer, the strongest girl from my class, and some dude named Max. Spencer got here after watching cringy videos of her crush, Regina, and getting all really gross at the gym. Max was apparently doing some model shoot or something, and he mentioned something about soup, but I really wasn't paying that much attention. I don't know, man, I just really want to go home. But this big creepy head thing said something about rangers? Weird.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
A universe in peril.
The clang of sword hitting sword.
The beating of iron hearts in chests.
The smell of horse sweat and the clink of bullets being loaded into a 6-shooter.
The scent of fresh, unsullied wilderness.
The galaxy's most unlikely group of heroes.
The rolling thunder of war machines.
The electric energy of an adventure yet to unfold.
An enemy like none other.
The rattle of spurs.
The smell of raw magic searing the air.
The rumblings of an unholy union.
The true power of teamwork.
The bitter sting of a dust storm on your skin.
The clattering of spent lead.
The haunting low of 1,000 longhorns on the Texas prairie.
The Multiverse Collective.
I'll start off by saying this campaign is being played using the masks system. If you don't know what the mask system is, it's powered by the Apocalypse system, which is 2d6. It's really cool, and I hope you enjoy what we've got to bring. The year is 3198. The Galactic Council has discovered an anomaly in the outer sector of the Elysian Rift. Something is coming, and they don't know what it is. All they know is that it's consuming planets at an alarming rate. 6 months prior to these findings, we see Angel Grove. It's the same Angel Grove it's always been. It still looks like it's stuck in the 90s. As we hover over the top, bird's eye view, we see Angel Grove High School. We see Juice Bar. We see Town Square. We see the Town Hall. We see the construction base that's still been going for the last 1,200 years, and they've still not discovered what they're building there. And we see the nice mountain top peaks that surround the edge of Angel Grove. We come into Angel Grove High School, where we see a young man by the name of Murphy being thrown in to a set of lockers. You better have my homework next week, Murphy, otherwise it's not just you going into the locker.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you better had be. As this is said, Murphy again is thrown, not this time into the lockers, but onto the floor, and his bag splits open and all his books and paperwork goes everywhere. How would you describe Murphy?
Murphy is very small for his age. He's only about 5'2", and he's sort of pretty skinny. He gets mistaken for a freshman quite often. Even though he is 16 and a junior in Angel Grove High School.
Is there anything Murphy would do after this altercation has happened, or is he just gonna go about his day?
I mean, he's pretty used to this. He tries to keep a low profile. He's gonna try and, get his bag packed up and just kind of shake it off and go about his day best he can. try and get to his next class as quick as possible.
We follow Murphy as he goes about his daily routine. We see him in classes, we see him get picked on a bit more at lunchtime. Is there anybody that Murphy sits with when he's eating, or?
Not really. I mean, I can't really, like, maybe just some random people that he never really talks to, but sort of just like the rejects. You know what I mean? Like, they're just sort of the outcasts in the school and nobody really talks to them, and that just happens to be where there's always empty seats. So
we see this, from the sounds of it, a very sad lunchtime of Murphy eating his food in silence.
absolutely.
Poor Murphy.
I hate that I can relate.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't relate. So after lunch, when we finished, all of the school, if it's done after school activities or anything like that, what's normal for Murphy to do when he leaves school? And
so right after school, most days he walks to school. He doesn't want to ride the bus because that's just submitting himself to more torture, and he doesn't live very far away. So he usually go to the fighting dojo. That's a couple blocks from his house. And he'll spar there. If there's a class going on that day, he'll take the class, but usually he'll just go there and just sort of work out some frustrations on the heavy bags.
Because this is a dice rolling game, would you say this dojo is a comforting tool for Murphy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely where he goes to work out his stress after the day.
Okay, so do you want to roll 2d6 plus mundane?
Mundane.
And we'll do a comfort or support.
That is 8.
Okay, so I'm going to say, in my opinion, obviously you can interject if you think, obviously, the frustrations of being in school, being bullied, getting ostracized by the other students doesn't feel great, and he probably feels angry at the end of the day, and this is what he does to relieve his anger.
For sure.
So I'm going to say that, this is how he relaxes. Afterwards, I'm going to say, he comes out of the dojo and he looks more refreshed. He looks more relaxed than he did when we first seen him, when he was being thrown around by the bullies.
Yeah, that's definitely where that's definitely his happy place.
Okay, what does he do after the dojo?
He would walk home afterwards. He lives with his single mom. She works most of the day. He's usually not home until pretty late at night, so he'll probably grab a shower after the dojo, and then find something to eat, whatever happens to be in the fridge.
Okay.
And then, he'll go and play his games to relax.
Okay. We're gonna go back into a bird's eye view, and we fly over to some corporate offices where we come down and we see a very sponsorship heavy clad man who is sponsored by, let's come up with a good name here, Phoebe. I don't know. He is in what looks like a sort of PR shoot at the moment. This is the Indigo Strut. Matt, can you explain what the Indigo Strut looks like, please?
I would love to. So, the Indigo Strut is a specimen of a man. He is He's about 6'4". He's jacked, and he is wearing just this audacious costume. So the top half, he is shirtless. Outside of, he's wearing these golden bracers on his arms, and then he's wearing these like skin tight pant looking things. You can see all down the legs there are different sponsors from all sorts of companies who have basically paid for ad space on this man's bodysuit rather. So you see a large Phoebe logo. You see the titular multicolored F with like a little ring around it. You see all sorts of, fast food joints. You see like there's an insurance agency like right on the right ass cheek, just covered in sponsors. And then coming out of the back is this just incredibly gaudy set of like peacock feathers. And so one might think that a man looking like this, wearing a superhero uniform like this, would be loving the limelight. But in between shots, you see his posture change from a very confident, hands on hips, shoulders back, chest out, a nice haughty laugh here and there. As soon as the cameras stop, shoulders come in, he bends a little bit and just shrinks as much as he can. And he looks at the watch that he knows he's not wearing, and he just like looks pleadingly at the cameraman, and he's like, hey guys, how much longer do we have? I did block off some time to go volunteer today, and I really don't want to be late for that.
You see the director of this PR shoot. He looks down at his watch and he goes, let me think of a very snooty voice. We got you down for another 2.5 hours of these photos.
You see the Indigo Strut just kind of sigh and is like, I did have this on my calendar, and it's already 4:30, and we discussed me being able to take off here at like 5:15. So I kind of like scheduled the whole rest of my evening based off of that, but I guess if I'm gonna be late, would you mind just giving me a second to give him a call to let him know, or?
Fine, but do it quickly.
So you see just like a wave of relief wash over the Indigo Strut for just a second, and he walks off into like a back room. There's like a little, like a locker. He opens it. In there, there's like a nondescript backpack, just some normal corporate, like a dress shirt, tie, and slacks hanging up. And so he reaches into a pocket. He pulls out his phone. He dials it, and he just very quickly, hey, good afternoon. This is Max. I just found out that I'm going to be working late. So, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to be in until closer to maybe 8:15 this evening. If that doesn't work, I'm happy to reschedule, but just wanted to call and let you know. Thanks, bye. Of course, it just went straight to voicemail, because when you see the name Max Brown pop up on your phone, who would think to answer? But nevertheless, the Indigo Strut sighs, puts his phone back in his locker, closes it up, locks it, and walks back out. Okay, all right. Let's do the next shot.
And as you get back into position, you hear the director clap his hands. And he goes, okay, bring out the babies. We need to get better PR photos. And from here, we're gonna shoot back into the sky. And where would we find Spencer around half 4 in the afternoon?
Oh, probably lurking outside of the high school. I doubt that she's wanting to go home yet. But she literally doesn't have anything better to do. She's probably like on her way to the gym, but not quite there yet. She's definitely slacking.
Okay, so we come back down to the outside of Angel Grove High, and we see Spencer. What does Spencer look like?
She's pretty average height, like 5'6" ish. Pretty average looking too, except for the fact that she is also totally fucking jacked. She is just like all muscles to like almost a gross degree. It's like all bulging veins and like bodybuilder adjacent. She clearly has put a lot of work in, although a lot of it's genetically modified.
Nice. As you walk into the gym, is there anything you're looking around for? Anybody you're trying to avoid, or?
I think she's trying to avoid pretty much everyone. The fewer social interactions she has to have in this situation, the better for her.
Okay. So you go into the gym. And what's the first thing that Spencer's gonna do? Obviously, she's into weights, so I'm assuming it's some sort of weightlifting.
Oh yeah, it's leg day. She is immediately going to the squat rack, and she's essentially putting on a show. I mean, she knows it's a spectacle every time she goes in because her maxes are crazy, especially for being a 17-year-old girl. But she's trying to keep it as low profile as possible. Head down, like hoodie on, all the way up.
I feel like with the way, obviously, Spencer is probably, benching like 505 without breaking a sweat, and like deadlifting close to 1,000 kilograms and stuff. It's like, I feel like a lot of scouts for bodybuilding competitions or, like weightlifting competitions are always, coming around trying to get Spencer to sign up for competitions using their sponsorship and stuff. How would you think Spencer reacts to that sort of attention?
I think she just very pointedly ignores it all at this point. I think the first couple of times was probably very flattering. Growing up in her household, she didn't have like a lot of positive attention for no reason. But I think now that it's happened more than a dozen times, she's like, okay, please leave me alone so that I can, finish my work here. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't have the patience for this. You're ruining my flow. Fuck off.
Fair enough. In the back of the gym, the treadmill area, like the bikes and stuff, you hear a voice you very, very plainly know as somebody you hate to love and love to hate. You hear the famous Regina, and she's like, "Oh my God, can you see Spencer over there?"
No, Niall. Not another campaign where I can't get through a sentence.
That's the best voice.
What have I done? Spencer just like the hairs on the back of her neck prickle. It's like that horrible chill you get down your spine when you've been like called to the principal's office for something and you did it. Like, there's no avoiding getting in trouble having this conversation.
Yeah, so you hear Regina like talking to her girlfriends about you, you know, being bitchy like popular girls do. And she walks past with a group of cronies, and you know, you lock eyes for a second, and she just gives you that sort of wink, you know, like, it's all a ruse, you know, sort of.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm familiar. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
I'm very familiar with that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's one of those where she did it on the sly, but you feel like if anybody else was looking at that moment, you'd think she was having like a fit or something, because she was trying to do it dead quickly.
Yeah. In reaction to this, Spencer puts two more weights on her rack. It's like, no, we're not
Very
doing
fair.
this.
Very
We're
fair.
not doing this right now.
Very fair again, yeah. So we're gonna pull out from there again. We're gonna go back to Murphy. So what sort of games does Murphy play when he's at home on his own and his mum's out working?
His favorite one is called the Crimson Bow. And it sort of follows a particularly famous mission from his favorite superhero, as he defeated Jax Rogers.
Okay. And would you say that Murphy is exceptionally talented in this game, or do you think he's, still at that point where he's making mistakes?
I feel like he's played this game 10, 15 times through.
Okay,
Like, this
he
is
could
one
just
of the
do it
only games he
blindfolded
plays.
now. Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, so as Murphy is playing this game, he's been through it before. He knows the dialogue, he knows the choices to make to get to the next area. But as he is playing, he notices a sort of glow, if that makes sense. Like a purple light flashes that he's never seen before whilst playing this game, and it looks like it's close but far away at the same time. Don't know if you've ever had to get glasses checks, but like we have to see like the air balloon, sort of effect. And what would Murphy do in this scenario? Would he go towards it, or would he ignore it?
I mean, it'd be something new for like the first time in this game in a while. So he'd think maybe like he found like a shortcut, some sort of speedrun strategy, some sort of glitch or something like that, and he'd want to go check it out.
Okay. So as you approach this purple light, you start to see what looks like a shape, and this is sort of an owl-like person. It looks like, they've got big wings for arms, and they've got massive talons. Would Murphy sort of know mythology and all that sort of stuff, or?
I think he really likes like old stuff. I mean, obviously he's into martial arts and bows, but I don't know if he's super up on mythology per se. I feel like he's more into like what like ancient humans did.
Okay. As you approach this glowing light, it peers into your soul, basically, and you have a vision. You see yourself and two other people on a battleground against an unimaginable foe. Something you've never seen before, something so massive that you can't comprehend it with just words or what your eyes is seeing. And as you shake out of this vision, this figure basically turns into a beam of light, and the beam of light strikes you square in the center of the chest, and it knocks you unconscious straight away.
All right.
So you just lay on your bedroom floor, just out cold.
I mean, he's just in his bedroom, so that's totally fair.
We're gonna go back to Max Brown. So at this point, you know, the Indigo Struts job's over. You've took all your PR photos, and where would Max be volunteering? What sort of volunteering does he do?
So, Max grew up on the not so nice side of town. And with this job at Phoebe as the Indigo Strut, he wants to give back to his community as much as he can. So there's a food pantry not too far from his house, kind of like a neighborhood food bank / like soup kitchen. So whenever he can, probably about twice a week, he'll stop by after work and he will serve food to to anybody who needs it, basically. So this building, it's right next to a kind of a rundown, shoddy-looking church. This building is equally, run down. There's graffiti on the side of the brick, and inside, even though the floor is this old like linoleum tile and the tables and chairs are very basic, not really much more than like card tables. It's very warm in there. The people, they know Max. Max knows the people, and it's that kind of vibe that everybody's just happy to be there, happy to be living another day, happy to have a hot meal. So you see Max wearing this apron on top of his corporate work clothes. So you see a white dress shirt, like a blue and red striped tie, and navy blue slacks with some black loafers. And you see Max, for probably the first time today, actually happy. And he is, behind the table, serving whatever they have to the, to the neighborhood people. So today's menu, it's chili, and chili in air quotations because it's a little bit of like the cheapest ground beef they could find at the local market, a couple of onions, bell peppers, beans, canned tomatoes, just enough to like make it wholesome, but Max is there serving with a smile.
As you're serving, you feel a little like a from your inside pocket where your phone was. Once you get a second, you pull it out, and you see that you have a message from Sarah from marketing at Phoebe, and the message says, "I can't believe they made you take pictures with babies."
After getting a second, he sends back the laughing emoji, and he texts back, "I know, they couldn't have tried any harder. The Indigo Strut, the people's hero. I mean, come on, man."
Just as this goes on, you look back out into the group of, homeless people, people who come in, like with food stamps to come and get the food, families and stuff. And you see on the far side, I'm going to say this is like a big gymnasium. And on the far side, you see two grown men fighting over like a box of food. It's getting pretty heated. What would Max do in that situation?
I think Max is going to, he's gonna speak up and he's gonna say, "Hey," in a much stronger voice than he's used to, and he's gonna kind of bound over there. He's gonna quick look around. He's gonna grab like another box of, whatever's laying around. Let's say like a box of saltine crackers, and he's gonna walk over there and he's just gonna put himself in between those two people, and he's just gonna be like, "Hey, there's no need to fight. We got plenty of food. Look, here." And so the one guy who's not holding the box at the moment, he's gonna put the box of crackers into his hands, and he's gonna be like, "Look, there's no need to be fighting. We got enough, okay? There's no need. Not here. They're children. Come on."
As all this happens, the matter is settled amicably, and both men just sort of, and then just walk off. About another 45 minutes, an hour goes by, and one of the kitchen workers asks if he could go into the storage room to grab another box of, let's say, pinto beans to throw into whatever they're making. And as you walk in, the door closes behind you, and you see a blinding light again. You sort of got to shield your eyes, and this is in the shape of a bird, a very shining bird. And this bird just again peers into your soul when you're looking at it, and you have a vision of you being a hero without Phoebe, like tattered all over you. You're missing your insurance logo on your right butt cheek, and you're missing the Quiznos advertisement on your left thigh, and it's the hero you want to be. And again, you come out of this vision, and this bird basically envelops you, and it's like a warm, embracing hug. And when you take this hug and you embrace it, you pass out as well. You're just on the floor of this storeroom. Seemingly there's no one around, no one's heard anything. There we go over to Spencer. What would Spencer be doing after spending however many hours in the gym, weightlifting, and dying from embarrassment from Regina?
I think after her mandatory 3 hours in the gym, just absolutely disgusting. She goes back to, I don't know, I'm kind of imagining Angel Grove High is like a boarding school at this point. She doesn't live with her family, so she's probably staying in the dormitory. Probably heads back to her room, listening to some casual death metal to wind down after a nice weightlifting session, trying to pretend like none of that happened.
Okay. And would you say that the room that Spencer stays in is like a shared dorm room where she has like a roommate, or is it like a private?
We'll say I think it's private. I think she just has her own space.
Okay.
I don't think it's very large by any means, but I do think it's just the one bed and her desk, and it's very sparsely decorated.
Okay. So Spencer gets back to her room in the dorm. I'm assuming she's just gonna, have a shower, make some high protein food, to keep the gains.
Oh yeah, microwavable protein pancakes all day.
Didn't know they were a
They
thing,
are
but
vile.
sounds great.
Surprisingly good.
Oh, I was gonna disagree.
Yeah, I think they're just terrible.
She eats 5 or 12 protein pancakes, whatever. If you've been 3 hours in the gym, you need at least 150 grams of protein to keep the gains. And then I'm assuming, would she then sit down to do homework, or would she just lie on a bed, sit on a phone for a bit, or...
Yeah, she's probably going to attempt to do homework. She knows that she's not going to get very far with it and that the results aren't going to be great, even if she put her full effort in. But she'll make an attempt. Her primary concern is getting all of that protein into her body. And then doom scrolling on Instagram and then clicking on Regina's profile and then clicking out of it like 6 or 7 times. Just normal stuff.
And every time you click on Regina's Instagram profile, there's just, video after video of her trying to be like an influencer, and it's always starts with, "Oh my god, hey guys."
Yeah, Spencer feels so much secondhand embarrassment every time she looks at it, and she's like, why do I repeatedly make this decision? This is terrible. She has it muted because it's so bad.
And as Spencer's doom scrolling and every now and again embarrassing herself with these videos, the room starts to sort of shake, but not in shake as in like there was an earthquake. It's like an isolated shake. So it's just the whole room, everything in it, like when you see an earthquake simulator and everything's just doing this.
Yeah.
Like that's what's happening in the room. And as you start looking around, at first you don't see anything, but then you look towards the front door to your dormitory, and you see just a gigantic red glow. It's the pressure you get off it is like domineering. It's like, I'm assuming Spencer, being as buff as she is, she's not used to people being able to give her an aura that makes her feel belittled. And as you're looking at this massive blinding light, you see again another vision into the future where everybody is praising you for being this great hero, and it's like nothing you've felt before. You didn't get that sort of praise as a child, and this is sort of like comforting in a way to know that you're doing a good job and that everything you've put yourself through has been worth it. And as you come out of this vision, this red glow comes over to you, and I don't even know how to explain this, sort of throttles you, if that makes sense. And just the sheer strength in the throttling causes you just to collapse. You're on the floor in your dorm, or half on your bed, half on the floor. Just like you've sort of been thrown off your bed.
Yeah, whatever's the least dignified, that's the position that she's in.
Yeah. It's like when, a kid's pretending to be asleep and they pretend to fall out of bed, one leg on the bed, one arm on the floor, one over the head.
Absolutely. It's a mess.
And then, you're just flat out. When you all awaken, you are in this room that looks so high tech that even the things you can buy now don't compare to the tech in this room. And as you all, I'm assuming you all stand up, unless you just want to lie there on the floor disorientated. You look around and you see a giant column of light with crystals in it, and you see what looks like a robot that has not been used in a while. It's got dust and cobwebs all over it. It just looks like it needs some TLC. You're probably all looking at each other, sort of confused at where you are. But then you hear a booming voice in the background, and you hear, "Ah, the new Rangers."